World events in 1802. America. In 1802 in America, Congress authorized the United States Military Academy at West Point. The Judiciary Act of 1802 reorganized the federal court system, and the Enabling Act of 1802 authorized the creation of Ohio from the Northwest Territory. Britain. Treaty of Amiens. Britain and France signed the Treaty of Amiens, ending the Napoleonic Wars and a decade of conflict. First United Kingdom general election. The first general election for the newly formed United Kingdom was held to elect members of the House of Commons. Parliamentary Dissolution. The first United Parliament was dissolved. France. Treaty of Amiens. This treaty temporarily ended the French Revolutionary Wars between France and the United Kingdom. Constitutional referendum. A referendum ratified a new constitution, establishing Napoleon Bonaparte as first consul for life. Legion of Honor. Bonaparte established the Legion d'honneur, Legion of Honor. Reinstatement of slavery. Napoleon Bonaparte reinstated slavery in the French colonies, a measure that reversed the abolition of slavery during the French Revolution. Toussaint Louverture's capture. Toussaint Louverture, a key figure in the Haitian Revolution, was seized by French troops and sent to Fort de Joux prison. Piedmont becomes part of France. The Italian region of Piedmont became part of the French First Republic. French army enters Switzerland. The French army entered Switzerland. General amnesty. A general amnesty allowed most of the émigrés, those who had fled France during the Revolution, to return, with the exception of about 1,000 of the most notorious. Sweden. Saint Barthélemy. The British occupation of the Swedish colony of Saint Barthélemy ended on July 10th. Swedish chemist Anders Gustaf Ekeberg discovered tantalum. The Yellow Rose Society was founded. The Yellow Rose Society was the name of a Swedish Masonic adoption lodge within the Freemasons, active from 1802 until 1803. It was founded by Karl Adolf Boheman upon the mutual wish of the royal couple Duke Charles and Duchess Charlotte of Sudermania, and open to both sexes. Metta Fock, a Swedish noble, was arrested and accused of having murdered her spouse and 2 children with arsenic in order to marry her lover. She was executed some years later. Sweden was involved in the First Barbary War, 1801 to 1802. Norway. Danish-Norwegian Union. Norway was part of the Kingdom of Denmark and Norway, a personal union between the two kingdoms with the same monarch. Italy. In 1802, Italy saw the establishment of the Italian Republic, with Napoleon Bonaparte as its president, a successor to the Cisalpine Republic, and the Italian region of Piedmont becoming part of the French First Republic. Spain. In 1802, a significant event in Spanish history was the revocation of the right granted to Americans to deposit goods in New Orleans without paying duties, causing concern among American merchants and farmers reliant on the port for trade. Turkey and Ottoman Empire. In 1802, a significant event for the Ottoman Empire, modern-day Turkey, was the renewal of relations with France, following the evacuation of French forces from Egypt and a preliminary peace treaty signed in October 1801. Due to mutual concerns about Russia. In 1802, Russia, along with other European powers, was involved in the War of the Second Coalition against revolutionary France, which ended with the Treaty of Amiens. And Russia's Tsar Alexander I initiated some minor social reforms and major liberal education reforms. Iraq. In 1802, a key historical event in Iraq was the Wahhabi sack of Karbala, where Wahhabis from Najd attacked the Shia city of Karbala, killing up to 5,000 people and plundering the Imam Hussein shrine. Canada. Tlingit resistance. The Tlingit, an indigenous group, began resisting Russian incursions into their territory. First Nations massacre. In 1802, a group of Tlingit warriors attacked the Russian fort at Old Sitka, resulting in a massacre where many Russians were killed and a few survived, while the settlement was looted and burned. Alexander Mackenzie, a prominent explorer and fur trader, was knighted for his efforts and became a member of the XY Company, a competitor of the Northwest Company. St. Mary's University was founded in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Cuba. French refugee influx. The Haitian Revolution, a slave rebellion in the French colony of Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, led to a massive exodus of French planters and other residents. Approximately 30,000 French refugees, including planters, merchants, and other colonists, arrived in Cuba seeking refuge from the violence and instability in Saint-Domingue. The influx of French refugees, many of whom were experienced in sugar cultivation, had a significant impact on Cuba's economy, particularly in the sugar industry. Africa. The Deport murders occurred in 1802, marking a significant event in the history of the Southern Cape. In October 1802, a band of armed raiders swept through the Bitu and Paisang River valleys and then westward towards Nisna, looting the farms and burning the homesteads. Vietnam. In 1802, Nguyen, who later became Emperor Gia Long, unified Vietnam after defeating the Tay Son dynasty, establishing the Nguyen dynasty and moving the capital to Hue. Thailand. In 1802, a key event in Thai history was the Burmese-Siamese War, 1802 to 1805, which saw Burmese forces invade Chiang Mai, though they were repelled by Siamese forces with support from the Kingdom of Chiang Mai. Australia. In 1802, 2 expeditions of discovery were off the coast of southern Australia, both charged with charting the unknown coast. Matthew Flinders, in The Investigator, and Nicholas Baudin, in The Geograph, famously met off the coast at what Flinders would name Encounter Bay. Flinders explored the southern coast, heading east, and in April, he reached Port Phillip. On June 2nd, Pemulwuy, a leader of the resistance to European settlement of Australia, was shot dead by Henry Hacking. On October 9th, the first book printed in Australia, an abridged version of the New South Wales General Standing Orders, was published under supervision by the government printer, George Howe. We hope you have enjoyed watching the video. Thank you.